Yeah. Okay. Let's just start off by, Chicago's my favorite city. I love going there. Even though I'm from Akron, Ohio.
Yeah.
I just feel for the city. And I know you do too because of what's going on right there. And I know that somehow ties into the book. Why don't you talk about what your book is about and how it ties into what's going on this past summer? It's going crazy, dude.
It's a great question, man. When you read my book, I go and I talk about kind of my childhood. And the reason I do that is because, I do a lot with my foundation in Chicago, and I'm sitting there and I'm talking to these youth, I'm talking to the young people all the time, and I'm trying to tell them I understand. But a lot of them look at me now and say, you don't understand, he has this, he has that. So I had to explain to them that, listen, I was sitting in those same shoes before, I was sitting in those same seats, and then tell them that, listen, you can become anything you want. I'm a living testimony of that, and just giving them that confidence and letting them know that I believe in them. And so you get them off. We're trying to get them off the streets. We're trying to do things to make sure that they understand it's a bigger world out here than what they just see, every day, in their neighborhoods, man. So it's unfortunate what's going on there, and especially with the strike that's about to go down in Chicago. That could turn things up even more. So I pray it doesn't.
I know that's right. One question before you get I wanted to ask you about Isaiah Thomas. I like what you guys are doing because you kind of take it to the next level. Getting into the cultural aspect and trying to help the city out beyond your celebrity. So I just wanted to talk. Have you interacted with Isaiah Thomas a little bit?
I've interacted with him a lot.
I figured that.
Yeah, he was down in Miami.
He's very conscious.
Coaching, and he's an ambassador for the city of Chicago, and he's done a lot of great things. Isaiah get a rep for certain things, and they don't really look at everything he does. I mean, he's a great community guy.
They have no clue.
Yeah, he's a great community guy, and he has a heart of gold. So, for me, young Isaiah was like a role model in the sense of what he was able to accomplish. But to have a relationship with him and to see things he's doing is amazing.
I've had friends, relatives who've had horror stories with, with the children, and especially brothers. You know what I'm saying? To get the court system don't always treat them right, something like that. So, how important was it to you, like you said, to get custody of your children, and be able to instill in them what you wanted them to?
Well, it was important to me. First of all, the most important thing was to let them know that that he's here, and I'm not going to ever leave you guys, life, and I will fight. I will do anything to make sure that I'm in there. But also, it's a bigger message than that for fathers and men as well. That, listen, you can fight for them. You can. If you need to be in their lives, it's a way that you can make sure you get in there. And I know that every father don't have the financial ability to be able to fight in court, but it just shows that you never give up. Anything can happen in a sense, for making sure that, you're making whatever effort it is to make sure that your kid is the most important and not necessarily focusing on, the significant other that you had the kids with. So it was a lot of messages in there, man, and I just want to share some light on that for all fathers to see.
Okay. Yeah, I just had one question. Chicago also got a lot of national attention last week because of the beef with Chief Keef and this rapper Lil JoJo, where they ended up with violence. Just talk about how fatherhood would change what's going on, even with someone like a Chief Keef or a Lil JoJo who feel like they gotta, carry guns in the videos, and it's crazy. Like you said, 38 teens were shot in 2 months within Chicago. Yeah. How can fatherhood and mentorship change what's going on?
Yeah, like you said, mentorship. I always tell them, a lot of kids, if you don't have fathers, you have to have a mentor. I had so many people in my life to help me get to where I am. Even though I had a father, I had mentors. I had people who believed in me. So that's what our kids need, in Chicago. They need people to believe in them. They need people to feed positiveness in them and not just, the negative that they hear or that they see, and that's what they go out and do. So, we have to be role models in a sense, and it starts at home. It starts in the people that you trust and you believe in a sense. And if you see them doing good, then it makes you want to do good. So hopefully it changes, man.
All right, definitely. Can you go into the book, just introduce your book and say continue watching Rolling Out TV?
Wait, say that again. What you want?
Just introduce the book and say continue watching Rolling Out TV.
What's up? This is Dwyane Wade, author of Father First, How My Life Became Bigger Than Basketball, in stores everywhere. So hopefully everybody go out and pick it up and read a little bit about my life. So find out more, Rolling Out TV.
Hold on, keep it going. Just go into a little bit about the reaction that you hope to get, the impact that you hope to have on it.
The impact that I hope to have on you know, anyone who picks up my book is hopefully they can just learn from my experiences. Hopefully they can learn from the successes that I've had in life, but also the failures, you know. And my book is to encourage, you know, to encourage families, to encourage youth that, you know, that they can do it, that they can, you know, fester the youth, that they can do anything they put their mind to. And for families, to encourage them that, you know, who is the most important and what is the most important thing to you. And for me, it's my kids. And I think that's should be, because they're the greatest gift that God can give us. So, you know, it's a lot of messages in my book. So if anybody read it, you know, hopefully you take away from it, you know, what you can take away from it, what speaks to you.